The dispositions of teaching refer to the values that every educator should possess in order to be a successful teacher. In taking this survey, while I did strongly agree with each one of these dispositions, it's my goal to highlight 3 or 4 of these that I feel I do well that make me successful as a teacher. The first one, and most important to me, is that all students can learn. As a kindergarten teacher, I get children that come from all different experiences. Some have come from a preschool or from a home that's taught them the beginning fundamentals of reading. Some of them come to me reading. Well, I have other students that come to me who've had absolutely no exposure to learning and have not even handled books before they've gotten to me, so they know none of the basics. With such a wide range of abilities, I have quite the challenge in teaching these students, but I use all the resources at my disposal, including parent volunteers, different support staff in the school, my assistant in my classroom, as well as the teacher cadet program in the local area high school. I also have utilized student teachers and other practicum students in my classroom to help me bridge the gap for these students who need so much more than some of the others. While they don't all end up at the same place at the end of the year, it is my experience that given the correct help and the right amount of exposure, that they actually do learn, and they will eventually bridge that gap with continued attention to their needs. It's exciting to see the progress they make and how many of them really are reading by the end of the school year and ready to go on to first grade. Another thing that I feel is extremely important is to embrace the cultural diversity in my classroom and to help my students feel valued as an individual in our learning community. While they all come from different walks of life, different cultures, some different languages, it's important to me that my students learn to treat each other with respect. I try to model that with the way I treat them, and we celebrate their differences and we learn about each other, and students are very, very accepting of one another if given the right modeling. A third area that I feel that I'm very good at and that I feel I'm strong in is in order to educate my children, I allow them to explore their natural curiosity. As a kindergarten teacher, I use a lot of centers, a lot of different activities. We don't use a lot of pencil and paper worksheet type materials in my classroom because I feel that they can learn so much through the natural outlet of play. Children need to play to learn, and they can learn so much when we tap into their interests. So I strive to give them as many experiences as possible so that they'll enjoy learning and that they will realize that learning can be fun. It's my goal as a kindergarten teacher to give them that great first experience. This also leads me to my final strength, which is in the area of relating to their families. I think the family is a strong resource, and it's my goal to embrace these new families. Many of them are very anxious about their children's first exposure to school. They're very nervous about dropping them off with somebody they've never met before. So I always have an open door policy. My parents are welcome to come into the classroom to volunteer. They're welcome to go on field trips. I give them my personal phone number so that they can contact me at any time. I've never had this be a problem, and I find it to stay off many problems that would be a huge problem if they weren't able to quickly communicate with me. Along with this open door policy, I believe that this helps our students and our parents immerse themselves in the school community and to feel that their child is nurtured, to feel that they're loved and accepted and respected. I value parent input as a part of our education process. As a mom, I know how important it is for me to feel included with my own children, and I value that same position with the parents of my children. A way that I can strengthen myself is in the area of continued education. I always want to be learning and finding new ways. That's why I started on this master's program to help give me new strategies to teach my students how to read. I've been nationally certified for 17 years, which was a very strong reflective process that helped me reflect on my practices, improve on them, and learn from the practices of other teachers. Eventually, as I come to that age where I can retire, when I'm ready, I would like to continue on in higher education and help to influence the future generation of teachers. I feel that that's very important in a way that I can continue to give back. Even though I can retire in the next 3 to 4 years, I really don't see it happening. I still have a strong passion for my students, and I feel like I still have a lot to offer. A professional educator, of course, should always be professional in their appearance and their grooming, and that is important as the first way of presenting themselves to their students in the community. But even more important is our behavior, both ethically and in a way of how we respect our students and our parents. It's so important that we behave ethically and that we live above reproach. Our students are watching. We're the role models for these children, and I don't ever want them to make bad choices based on something they've seen from me. It's very important that we treat them with kindness, love, and respect. We protect their confidentiality, and we always remember that the needs of the children come first, even when sometimes that may be uncomfortable. If we have to address a situation where a child is in harm or danger, it is very important to remember that those children are depending on me as an educator and me as a professional to help them in their lives.